Hi, folks. My name is Danny. Welcome to Danny's Corner. For those of you who do not know me, I am a blind individual and I try to bring topics or talk about things not only that are of interest to blind people, but also to help you to let you know how to help blind people. And so, I talk everything about disability awareness, how to communicate, what to do and what not to do. But I also talk about other things that interest me or that affect me in one way or another and give a unique opinion perhaps you have not heard in other places, such as societal issues. And today I'm continuing to talk about gun violence, as that's something that has impacted my life in one way or the other. So today I want to talk about why the plan that the Republican Party has enabled to get this gun violence under control is wrong. One of the things I think that's affecting our society is too much violence. I think that we can all agree on that. But we need a sensible plan. We need something that actually works. And so, to give you a little bit of summary, what the Republican Party wants to do, and this is taken from different things that I've heard, different senators or people in the Republican side. So I've just put these things together, and I have come up with others based on their responses, and then I'm going to tell you why this is wrong. So, the Republican Party wants to have more security guards in school campuses. They want to arm more of these people. And I would imagine that they want training for teachers and aides to train them on how to use a gun. And I imagine, with that said, there's a bunch of other staff in schools as well. So I would imagine that they would want to train them in how to use a gun and give them a gun as well. One of the things that is largely forgotten when it comes to schools, I know that shootings happen everywhere, and I'm gonna get to that. One of the largely groups that are forgotten are people with disabilities. For those of you who do not know, some people with disabilities, regardless if they are in public or special ed schools, some of these people with disabilities have a one-to-one aide. This means that there is an aide assigned to this person to help this person with some daily activities and other stuff. Are you telling me that this person must be trained as well on how to use a gun and have a gun? So here we have hundreds, if not thousands, of people within schools having guns. That's the first thing. The second thing, they want to perhaps have security cameras, not only outside of the schools, but I would imagine inside the classroom. Also, the other thing is they want to put bars. I would imagine, this is what security is. They would like to put bars around the windows or barbed wire or something. So, the person who wants to commit some sort of crime can not do it. All right. Second thing, I would imagine that these people who will be carrying guns, especially those who would be outside of schools, may want to wear some gear, protective gear, and I would imagine that would extend to the whole school if security guards aren't able to deal with one or two people trying to barge into the school. Which brings an interesting question. Would Republicans require for people or schools from K through 12 to have secured police, campus police, just as they do with colleges and universities, to deal with such a thing? That would mean hiring more people, training more people, again, with guns. Just stuff like this will not happen. Okay, so that's that. So, by the way, keep the term uniforms on the back of your mind. I'll tell you why in a little bit. So here we have guns. Here we have security equipment, cameras, other protective gear, and we have a bunch of students. Did I miss anything? Perhaps, but this is basically what they want to do. Let me ask you a question. What does this seem to you? What does it seem to you? It seems to me that if we keep on going the way that we're going, and if these things were to ever pass, this would be like sending your child to prison. Yes, you heard that right. I think that if all of these laws that people want to pass on the Republican side, when it comes to schools, we would be sending our children to prison because we want to have them protected. The next thing that we're going to find out is that we need plexiglass for teachers so the rooms can be divided just in case a student decides to do something. You never know. This is prison. And remember that I told you about uniforms? And I have nothing against uniforms. Nothing, absolutely nothing. But it's interesting how when we talk about gun violence and the things that should be done to make it stop, students wear uniforms now. So, again, this plays into this prison thing that I'm talking about, because what do prisoners wear? Uniforms, and they all wear the same color and things like that. Here you have schools with basically the same amount of security wearing these same things. Here's the issue, though, and I don't think people have talked about this. I want you to think back and remember when you were 6, 7, or 8 years old. Now imagine yourself, and let's assume, or let's pretend that you were part of that school, or part of a school that, let's say, would have done this, would have gotten their staff trained with weapons, and they were wearing military style things. I don't know. Everything that I've described, you are experiencing at your school. How would you feel as a 6 or 7-year-old, putting yourself in your children's shoes? Let me answer that question first. I would be feeling scared. I would be asking so many questions as a 6, 7, or 10 years old. Remember that as much as we may want to keep children out of harm's way, we're not doing anything by introducing harsh measures such as this one. Because again, kids are going to ask questions. Adults do not have the patience nor the time to answer all of those questions. They always say, I have things to do. Go ask your mom. Go ask this person. Go ask that person. But when children do that, their parents don't have any time to answer those kids' questions, the questions that those kids have. So what ends up happening then is you're going to have to train more people. You're going to need more child psychologists. You're going to need more professionals inside of those schools to talk to those kids of why we need these measures. But that's not going to do anything because kids will be fearful. If you know kids, they're going to ask questions again and again and again. And we have not talked about people with disabilities. Some children and adults don't want change or can't handle change as good as your neurotypical population. And so just imagine how they are going to feel when all of a sudden you're going to change certain things on them and they're not expecting that. How do you think that's going to work out, Republicans? I'm going to tell you, not too well. If we keep on going this route, we are sending our children to prison. Do you think our children would want to go to school if all of these measures get enacted? I don't think so. They're going to want homeschooling for this. And maybe that's what the Republican Party wants. Maybe so. You know how they talk about, we need school choice, we need more homeschooling and this and that. Maybe this is why they don't do anything about gun violence. Because they want the parents to get so tired, they want the students to get so fed up that they say, you know what, just let's homeschool me. Which is kind of odd when you think about it, because weren't Republicans complaining a few years ago about the masks and about how they were being forced to stay in for who knows how many number of days during the pandemic? And how they were shouting and screaming to let us out. Yeah, now what? Our children are going to be forced to do the same thing with homeschooling. You're keeping them out. You're keeping them in when what they would want more is to go out. We're sending a contradictory message. You mind if you don't go out. You get angry. You're not satisfied. Your rights are what's important. But you don't care if a child feels the same way, if they want to be let out, if they want to be homeschooled. If they think their house is a prison, they want to go out too. What are you going to say to them? Well, I'm your parent and you're supposed to say whatever I want to. Or whatever. You're supposed to do whatever I say. It's ridiculous. And this is why I'm here to expose the hypocrisy of the right. And with this, I'm not saying that the left doesn't have their fair share of blame here. But Republicans are the ones who are pursuing these type of measures, but they're not going to work because of the things that I've just said. The issue here and what they want to get to is protect. And I want to say this very clearly. They want to protect their Second Amendment at any cost, even if that means that children have to be sacrificed for it. Let me repeat that again. People who are obsessed with the Second Amendment and they want their rights, to keep their rights to own guns, what they want to do is to sacrifice your children so they can have their guns. So it doesn't matter to them if your children have to be under lockdown. It doesn't matter if they have to wear uniforms. It doesn't matter if they get scared. It doesn't matter if they have to go under a significant change. As long as they get to keep their guns, that's all that matters. You figure out how you're going to teach your children that this is good or whatnot. And these people, furthermore, do not care about your children because, as you can imagine, their children are going to go to private school, as if violence would not touch a private school. So please, let's do something different. Let's not keep doing the same things that we have been doing for 20 years, which is nothing. Our leaders are failing us on both sides. This was, again, as I said on the first video, this was way before Trump, way before Joe Biden, and way before George W. Bush. And this is going to continue 10, 20, 30, 50 years from now if this is not stopped. So there you have it. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Until next time.